Every type of birth generation explained in 7 minutes. Lost generation. First, let's talk about the lost generation, born between 1883 and 1900. Named by writer Gertrude Stein and popularized by Ernest Hemingway, this generation came of age during World War I and the Roaring Twenties. They experienced the horrors of the war and the rapid social changes that followed. The trauma of the war and the carefree spirit of the 1920s led to a sense of disillusionment and questioning of traditional values. More than 70 million people were mobilized, 8.5 million were killed, 21 million were wounded, and 2 million soldiers died of disease. Additionally, the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 to 1920 was also not merciful, with some reports estimating 17 to 50 million deaths worldwide. After the war and the pandemic, the world experienced economic turmoil, leading to the Great Depression in the 1930s. This era saw the rise of a new type of young woman in pop culture known as the flapper, known for being rebellious against previous social norms. Many of their works reflect a deep sense of loss and a search for new meaning. Greatest Generation, GI. Next, we have the Greatest Generation, born between 1901 and 1927. They endured the Great Depression and fought in World War II, showing immense resilience and determination. Known for their hard work and toughness, they also enjoyed the jazz and swing music of their time. This generation valued sacrifice, duty, and patriotism, shaping much of the modern world through their collective efforts during the war and in rebuilding afterward. It was a major time period for culture and entertainment in America, with the golden age of Hollywood and the advent of comic books, radio, and popular music genres like jazz and swing. Approximately 16 million Americans served in World War II, with 38.8% being volunteers and 61.2% draftees. Silent Generation. Next is the Silent Generation, born from 1928 to 1945. They got their name because they were notably quiet during the McCarthy era, a time of intense fear of communism. This generation focused on hard work and conformity, often taking stable jobs and working their way up the ladder. They valued security and were known for their loyalty to their employers and dedication to their families. The Silent Generation witnessed the fall of Nazism and the rise of their new enemy, communism, leading to the long-standing Cold War. They were heavily influenced by the golden age of radio, the rise of trade unions, the development of transatlantic flight, and the discovery of penicillin. Baby Boomers. Then we have the Baby Boomers, born from 1946 to 1964. This generation experienced a significant population boom after World War II. They grew up in a time of prosperity and were very optimistic. Known for their activism, they were involved in major movements like the Civil Rights Movement and protests against the Vietnam War. They also changed parenting by emphasizing their children's feelings and needs, introducing family meetings and more inclusive family dynamics. Technological advances made before, during, and after the war, such as plastics, television, magnetic tape, transistors, integrated circuits, and lasers, played a key role in the tremendous improvements in the typical standard of living. The boomers influenced the economy as the core marketing demographic for products tied to their age group, from toys to records. Cultural rushes, especially in music with artists like the Beatles and Bob Dylan, were prominent during this time. Despite the optimism, the era was also marked by major political discussions and protests, especially as the Vietnam War lingered on. Generation X. Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980, grew up during a period of major social and technological changes. Many of them had both parents working or came from single-parent homes, making them very independent. They experienced the rise of personal computing and the early internet. Known for being resourceful and skeptical, Gen Xers witnessed the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War, as well as the AIDS epidemic. This generation is often called the latchkey generation, stemming from children returning from school to an empty home. The rise of alternative rock, hip-hop, punk, post-punk, and heavy metal bands, as well as booming industries like video games, were significant during this time. Individualism and entrepreneurialism became defining traits, leading to innovations such as Google, Wikipedia, Amazon, and YouTube. Millennials. Millennials, born from 1981 to 1996, grew up with the internet and saw the rise of social media. They remember significant events like 9/11 and the 2008 financial crisis. Tech-savvy and valuing experiences over material things, millennials prioritize social justice and environmental issues. As parents, they encourage their children to be authentic and support gender non-conforming kids, often taking a more flexible approach to parenting. Described as the first global generation, millennials are connected to the entire world but are also characterized as the unluckiest generation due to economic struggles, student debt, and child care costs. Despite these challenges, they have a generally positive outlook and confidence in their finances. Generation Z. Generation Z, or Zoomers, was born between 1997 and 2010. They are the first true digital natives, growing up with smartphones and social media as a constant presence. This generation is very connected and entrepreneurial, often using technology to create new opportunities. They are highly aware of social and environmental issues and are known for their inclusivity and political activism, despite many not yet being of voting age. Zoomers were born into the internet era and experienced significant events such as the rise of social justice movements, a new form of American politics, and the COVID-19 pandemic. The attention and dopamine economy of apps like YouTube and TikTok, as well as the influence of memes, have shaped their cultural landscape. Generation Alpha. Finally, we have Generation Alpha, born from 2010 onwards. These are the children of millennials, growing up with advanced technology from birth. Expected to be the most educated and tech-savvy generation yet, they are also very diverse. Many are growing up in single-parent households or non-traditional family structures. Their world is shaped by rapid technological advancements and significant social changes. Described by some as the pandemic generation, they experienced the pandemic as young children, and their education and entertainment are heavily influenced by technology. Predicted challenges for this generation include mental health issues, misinformation, and polarization. And that's a quick look at every generation. Each one is unique and has changed the world. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. Comment below with your generation. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on The Paint Creators.